Hello all, Namaste, Namaskara. Today I'm here to talk about the Bollywood movie HAQ, means right. This story is basically about an Indian woman called Shazia Banu and about where she fights for her alimony or the maintenance money for herself and the kids. She is married to Abbas, so it's basically played by Yami Gautam and Imran Hashmi. There were a lot of praises for Yami Gautam in the internet by Alia Bhatt and Karan Johar praising her acting like explicitly. I actually wanted to watch the movie as soon as I got to know about the story during the promotions. Like they were asking Imran Hashmi, how did you agree to play this character, you yourself being a Muslim? And he was like, it's not about me being a Muslim, it's just about telling a story. It's a real story, as in it's based on how do I tell, real facts, what happened in India during that time or how she fought a case. A story goes in its own phase. Where starting, we see a beautiful, maybe it was an arranged marriage, but we see a beautiful love story between Imran Hashmi and Yami Gautam. Uh, Abbas is, as in Imran Hashmi, is a very reputed lawyer. He's from a good, well-off family. He, as in his forefathers, have been, how do I say, writing or been in the law, and they were a part of framing or doing the constitution. And then she is a daughter of a priestess or a Maulana is what they call in the movie, if I'm right. Yeah, Maulana. And she's a daughter of the Maulana and she's there. So they have a beautiful love story and where you see, and I would say there are no scenes in the movie which are of no use. Like she comes newlywed and she asks, why there are so many pressure cookers? So her mom tells Abbas has a habit of not repairing. So every time he buys a new one. Cut. And then we go where she wants to, have a rose garden, but you see the neighbor's roof is over the rose garden over their property, over Yami Gautam's property. So she's like, what, hey, what hua, ye kya hua, what are you doing? And then there's a fight and then she calls her husband, tells her neighbor is doing that, and neighbor is like, how can you talk, it's not even your property. And the very next day Imran Hashmi comes to the property document telling, now you can speak because it's your property or the rose garden is her property. So the story goes beautifully. It kind of goes, how do I say, the songs are there and the story progresses. It's there for, I would say, most of the love stories in a song, maybe span of an hour or I think 1 hour or half an hour. It's all about the love story with the songs. And how do you tell a story with the songs? I think this is how it has to be done. And in War 2, there were songs and the story progressed. No, this is how you tell the story through songs. And Yami Gautam narrates, like, the love what we had, after kids and all, it became responsibility and, all those things. And she's trying or craving for the attention, but Imran Hashmi is so busy, he's not giving the attention. And suddenly he goes to Pakistan and gets a second wife. And obviously she's angry. And then he's like, she's a widow. Even his mom, like Yami Gautam's mother-in-law convinces her she's a widow. Like she lost her husband very young. And she has been domestically abused, so it's a good job what he's doing. He gave life to that woman. And she's like, if you wanted to do so much of charity, give money, not get wife to my place. And then Imran Hashmi convince her, like, she's just, Yami Gautam will be pregnant at that time, so third kid, by the way, in the span of 9 years. And he's like, I want you to take care of the family, she will help you in that. I know it's very difficult with you, and in the rose garden there will be a house, she'll be out of the house, like maid. Or Yami Gautam is like, okay, she compromises with it. And then the story progresses and she gets to know Imran Hashmi, starts staying in the that outhouse. And then she's like, I want to go shopping. And when Yami Gautam, no, let's go to market. And when they go and she tells the truth. She's like, Yami Gautam is like, no, no, have this, no, have this. She's like, I'm not your charity case. I am, he didn't marry me because of all that. He actually loved me before the wedding, but I got wedded to someone else. And immediately he got to know that my husband died. He came running towards me. It's not like he was the option, he was my choice. He actually, how do I tell, coerced or, wooed me to get married to him. So I am his first love. You may be his first wife. I may be the second wife, but I am his first love. So Yami is shocked. Okay, he lied. So then again he asks her. Sorry, she asks him, and he's like, no. And then the relationship gone, and again you see the progress where that second wife, who is very beautiful by the way. I got to know she was Miss India, Vartika Singh. She is very beautiful by the way. She looks beautiful, man. You are like, wow, whatever. Okay. Then you get she's pregnant and she is into the house. She's no more in the outhouse, and Yami Gautam is just living her life because she has kids and other things. And then during her anniversary, she goes to his office and he's like, I'm too busy, and she's not treated well. But then she would have had enough. She leaves to her parents' house. And then Imran Hashmi comes home with a bouquet of roses, but then he finds her not there. Then he promises to give her a maintenance of 500 rupees every month. And then he stops giving the maintenance suddenly, and this girl from her hometown comes back to the, how do I tell, to Abbas' place or ask him, why have you stopped giving me 500 rupees? And he's like, I don't want to give. And she's like, why? What happened? And then he's like, talak, talak, talak. I've given you talak. You're no longer my wife. And then it stops. He just stops giving maintenance. And then she goes back. She's like, okay. But then she needs the money because her father is a Maulana where he teaches the kids the Quran, and that's how he earns his earning. And then she's like, this is not how, it's very difficult. So she tries every way. And their father goes to the Maulana and tells, this is what happens. Can you arrange for the, how do I say, peacemaker or the, I don't know what they call, alimony money for the maintenance of the kids. But then Maulana is towards Abbasides. And there the story actually starts. Her fight begins. Is it because Muslim have separate law? Is it secular code or is it Muslim code? She goes, and the story is written so beautifully and you actually feel bad. How do I say, it's, she even tells, even though triple talaq is in the Sharia, not in the original Quran, but it tells whenever they give, that person has to be punished openly, like he has to be whipped. Do you follow all those things? You only follow what you want, so you don't even follow it. And she, since she's a priest or a Maulana daughter, she knows Quran in and out. She is like, even she tells Abbas, you ask me, even in the Muslim court she tells, or the Muslim, I don't know what board, you can ask me questions on any topic, I will not be able to answer. But if you ask me any questions relating Quran, I know it. I do read it day in and day out. And then the story begins, and she gets a how do I tell, a blessing in the lawyer who's called Bela Jain, and she claims her grandfather wrote the constitution. Then we get to know he was the calligrapher who wrote the constitution, and she has a lawyer who's a Muslim. And then at the end they win the case. I mean, you can see how in the junior court they win, but Abbas goes to the high court, but he loses intentionally, because if he loses there, he can go to Supreme Court and there'll be many cases lying. Ultimately she wins, but I don't know, High Court gave her not 500, 180 rupees, but I didn't understand Supreme Court gave her how many rupees. Let me tell you, his income would be 75,000 per month, and she would be asking only 500 rupees per month, and he has 3 kids, and he would not be ready, because not because he does not want to. Even second wife is like, I'll give, but he's like, no. That ego comes into picture. And even the second wife during the movie, she understands. She's like, even you told me you were not a charity case, right? Like, you can live without love sometimes, but you can't live without self-respect. And the movie, the fights, the kids, even Yami Gautam's father, you can just see how father was so supportive of her daughter. And let me tell you, the court case ran for 20 years and his father eventually expires. But how much he supported his daughter. Without his father role, he could not have done it. And even the lawyers, during the Supreme Court final hearing, after hearing Abbas case, lawyer is like, done, I'm so much in favor. And the final verdict, Yami Gautam is like, I want to fight. And she even recites Urdu, quote from Quran and all. You feel after seeing this, the problem is not the books, or the problem is not with the religion. The problem is with the people who implement these laws, or who implement the part which they like and they don't implement completely, or they bend the rules according to their whim, their wish. And she even tells you, you should, if you have, you should do support backward classes. And you know who are the backward classes? It's Indian Muslims in the Muslim women in the Muslim community. And few dialogues are heart touching. She's tell, I'm not a Muslim woman, I'm an Indian Muslim woman. I be like, I mean, the movie stayed with me. It will stay with you for a very, very long time. The scenes, the second half where the actual story starts, is where it becomes, you stand with her, you fight with her. You're like, what the hell is wrong with people, with our government, or whoever is there? I really love the movie. It's a bit of a slow paced, but it's really good. And the songs in the background really add up to it. And the final song, HAQ hai mera, something like this. It just, I don't know, it has a similar tone with Vande Mataram, I think, in the Supreme Court. It stayed with me. The movie stayed with me. The performances have stayed with me. Everyone have done too good. In the end, Imran Hashmi takes rose from his a lawyer's court. He always has a rose and keeps it on the Supreme Court, I don't know, outside some staircase. I didn't understand the reference of it. If you have some idea or have understood, please drop a comment and tell me what that was about. Okay then, until next time, Kamsahamnida, fight for your haq. Bye bye. Thank you.